We've had our fun giving Samsung a good kicking over the last few days, and rightfully so. But you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. There's plenty of people out there that were waiting to see what Samsung offered with the Galaxy S25 series that are nonplussed, that still have to make a buying decision on their smartphone for 2025. So this video is for you. And despite my disappointment with the Galaxy S25 series, especially at the price points that they're selling at, there are plenty of reasons why you wouldn't want to skip and bail out on Samsung altogether. Let's face it, Samsung Knights, I know you're out there, I know you're watching. You'd rather be caught. You'd rather use a busted Galaxy J series than pick up a Pixel, all right? You're not gonna leave Samsung for a lack of innovation and high prices only to go buy an iPhone, because that's nonsensical. And as much as I like the OnePlus 13, I think it's a fantastic alternative for those who want it, there still are reasons why you'd stick with Samsung. You can't exactly walk into a OnePlus Experience store here in the United States and solve any problems you have. You're not going to go to a carrier, pick up your OnePlus, and be able to walk back in and say, hey, can you help me with whatever on my OnePlus? So there are reasons why you'd stick with Samsung. Then on the software side, I can have my differences with Samsung on the hardware side. One UI has been some of the best, most reliable software on the Android platform the last few years. Samsung's been good with updates. Samsung DeX is popular. There are plenty of reasons why you'd want to stick with Samsung. And I think there's a stopgap measure. I think like in the NFL, we could put a franchise tag on Samsung for another year, and you're going to do that with the S24 Ultra. Link in the description. This one will have a link in the description. Does help the channel. $860. $860. I think that's a fantastic deal. I think it gives you a lot of what you're going to get already on the S25 Ultra, but it also keeps your options open. 6 years of support left on this phone. So you could sit there, use it for a year, see what Samsung does next year, and I still think financially you're going to be okay. Because you're going to outlay $860 for this. You could hang on to whatever you got, whether it was an S20 or an S21 or whatever it is that you're upgrading from. You could hang on to that, sell it privately, take your time, get the most amount of money for it, pick yourself up one of these for $860, and then next year, let's say Samsung knows it has a killer product in the S26 Ultra, and the trade-in offers aren't as good as they were this year, which is totally possible. If we look at the trade-in offers for the S23 Ultra, what is it, $750, something like that? Let's say they give you the S22 Ultra trade-ins on this. So you're looking at $600. You recoup 75% of your investment, a lot of your investment for using it for a year. Then you could go ahead and get a phone that you really want to own instead of settling for an S25 Ultra that I think Samsung needs to have left baking a little bit longer. So if Samsung listens this year and takes a big swing next year, what I think it absolutely has to, I would be shocked, absolutely floored, if the S26 Ultra weren't a significant departure from what we've seen for the last 4 years. So you get to stay in the Samsung tent. You get to enjoy all the Samsung stuff that you love. You're going to wind up picking up in 2 months' time all the extra Galaxy AI stuff and the midday brief stuff. And let me tell you something. I won't say anything about that. I'm reviewing a phone right now for Android Police that is in that lineup, and I'm using the morning brief and some of the AI stuff. But we'll save that for another day. But you're going to get a lot of that stuff down here on the S24 Ultra. So you're not really missing a whole lot. Still 6 years of software support, so you're still going to be plenty of support. Still get good battery life. It's the same battery size. With the exception of the Ultra Wide, it's the same camera system, and you got to figure that a lot of the computational stuff that's making these cameras, you're hearing a lot of reports of people saying, oh, the cameras are so much better on the S25 Ultra. They're really good. That's all computational, obviously, right? Because it wasn't the lenses, not that they put new lenses in there. It's not like it's a new camera system in there, unless you're talking about the ultra wide. But the 200, all the megabit and all the sensors are going to be relatively the same. So it's software enhancements. So you can't tell me that the computational model that they've rebuilt from the ground up or whatever I keep hearing is not going to come to this guy, because that would be ridiculous. And we talked about that the other day. If you're going to tell me that for $1,300 last year, I can't get a year's worth or 2 years worth of your latest and greatest, then we need to have a conversation. Because that means that this wasn't worth $1,300 in the first place. And you can have it one way or the other. You can tell me this is not worth $1,300. You can charge me $1,000 for something like this, and then tell me a couple years from now that I can't get the latest and greatest features. Or you could charge me $1,300 and you could service this phone properly for a few years. One or the other, right? So you pick up a lot here. I happen to like the design. I happen to like it a little bit better. When I held the Ultra in the hand, the first thing I noticed was those flat edges. And it just, the joke I see everywhere is, yes, they took away the sharp edge on the corner, but then they added sharp edges everywhere else on the phone. This felt nice. The rounded frame is nice. It felt nice in the hand. Yes, you had a jam, but you could put a case there. There's so many things you could do. When you put a case on the S25 Ultra, the ones that we had there to play with, it just got a lot thicker and it just felt like a giant slab. So I do feel like you pick up, it's personal preference, but I do think you pick up a little bit of personality with the S24 Ultra when you pick one up. And then there's the discount. $860 for this is quite the deal. 12 gigs of RAM. Make sure you get a good storage model that you want. Bluetooth S Pen. You get a lot of the functionality, One UI we've talked about. A lot of the AI stuff is coming down here. Your games are still going to run fantastic. AAA titles are going to have no problem. You still have ray tracing on here. So there's plenty of ways to build value in the S24 Ultra, and it does all those things that we talked about, where you can actually just punt the decision down the road. Because I know a lot of people are on the last legs with some of the phones they got. And I know there's people that, if you're a Samsung nut, if you're a big hardcore Samsung fan, you're really not looking at a Pixel. If you jump ship and you want a Pixel 9 Pro XL, excellent phone. But it's a different kind of phone. It's not what you're used to. You're not going to get that AAA game. Like, it's just a different experience. So if the things that you prioritize in a phone are the reason why that you picked up a Samsung Galaxy S Ultra device in the first place, you're going to want to go with the one that's a year older, because it allows you a wait and see. You could stick around, see what Samsung comes up with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. And let me tell you something, if they fumble it that hard again, then you got to look elsewhere. A lot of you are already in that boat. A lot of you are already looking to jump ship. You already picked up your OnePlus. The OnePlus 13 is getting a heck of a lot more attention than it had in previous years. Rightfully so, deserves it. OnePlus did a fantastic job with that phone. It just shows you the anger, I guess you could say, or just the disappointment with Samsung's latest offerings. They're just not innovating at all. And I know, I want to respond to a couple of things from the other day. When people talk about, well, oh, it's so cheap with the trade-in offers, you still paid something for this phone, right? Not everybody has an S24 Ultra laying around that makes the S25 Ultra $400. So stop basing that on your particular circumstance. Great, I'm glad that you have an S24 Ultra that you're willing to trade in, but this wasn't free either. This cost you money. Somewhere along the line, someone is paying, and I can guarantee it's most likely you. So there's plenty of reason to be disappointed with the S25 Ultra, no matter how good your trade-in offer is. And to look at something a little bit older and it's still fantastic and going to serve you well and allow you to keep in that Samsung tent. No one's telling you to leave the Samsung family. I went over this the other day. I'm a fan. We talk about these things and I get uppity about these things because I'm a fan. Because next year, when the S26 Ultra has all the things that we talked about, has the upgraded RAM, has a better camera system, has a refreshed design, makes the display enhancements, maybe they make a display jump next year. There's the battery tech, all of that stuff. I can look back and say, that's why we do these things. That's why we complain about Google, because Google went out and made changes. That's why we complain about OnePlus, because OnePlus went out and made changes. You can't just put your head in the sand and say, well, just don't buy it. Well, what good is that doing anybody? We're fans of the phones. We want them to be better. So why not speak up? That's why we do these videos. That's why we talk about these things. And for me, if it's my money in 2025, if I had to buy a Samsung flagship where I'm outlaying big money, $500 plus on a Samsung phone, it's going to be the S24 Ultra. Now, there is a case to be made if you want the small S25, because $800 matches up favorably, more than favorably, I think, with the Pixel 9. Similar price tags there. That's a good comparison. Like, if there is a saving grace of the S25 lineup, I do think it's the small one. Compact, 6.2-inch display. Yes, you got to deal with the 1080p, but you are getting at least enough there to make it a competition and a conversation if you're getting a good deal on it. Otherwise, pick up one of these. Beautiful display. Once they gave us the Vividness slider, it's been really great. Fantastic hardware. You get the titanium build. You get the same battery life, battery size, not battery life. It's good enough for right now. So I think that's what you should do, and then kick the financial decision down the road to next year. You come for the tech, stay for the estate planning here at Stevelicious Tech. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Stevelicious day.